What is up, gamers? It's your boy here, back with another podcast. Welcome back to JO3 Afterdark. We're finally back. Finally back. I'm definitely not gonna edit this whatsoever, so it might be a little over the place, like always. But for the most part, this is sort of a soft relaunch, sort of. This episode 3 of JO3 Afterdark. Finally back. I promise it's gonna be weekly again. I want to take a couple weeks to do other things that I didn't really end up doing, but it's fine. It's fine. Um, the things I promise will come eventually. It's just wasn't the right time for me to try to do them or tell the stories that I wanted to tell. So, for the time being, we're back on JO3 After Dark. Will there be a break in the future again? Probably. But for now, JO3 After Dark. That's my new Wednesday upload. I'm uploading Wednesdays and Saturdays now because Tuesday was a good day until it wasn't. So I'm switching my weekly, midweek video to Wednesday. Still time between the uploads, which is the main thing I aim to, do. So that's fine. So Wednesdays you'll get JO3 After Dark for the foreseeable future, and then Saturdays, other sort of stuff, either Ender Falls, other things, commentary videos. We'll get into a little bit of some of my upcoming stuff moving forward. So if we want to start off, we'll start with some projects. This doesn't pertain to just videos. These are the big things that are just like a one-off video or a short series. So, the JO3 SMP is the big one. If you follow my Twitter, I've been tweeting about it every day. There's currently a Google form, which will also, starting with this video, be in the description of all of my videos for the time being, for you to apply if you're a streamer or content creator. If you create content, you could stream on Facebook Gaming for all I care. As long as you create content on a platform or stream. I don't know if TikTok would really count because you can only stream on mobile. So, besides TikTok, well, even if I guess if you make content on about TikTok, that'll work for me. I just want there to be content on it because it's gonna be telling a story. Sort of like the Dream SMP or something I'm on the Interfalls SMP, except it'll be on Java. I have a server hosting site in mind where I can buy it for like $50 for 6 months. And since I just got paid from Twitch, or I'm currently in the process of waiting on the check, I haven't checked if it's come in yet by the time of recording, which would be February 5th, in case you're curious. In case anything crazy happens that I didn't cover in this podcast before Tuesday or Wednesday. Wednesday. That's the new day. So yeah, that's a big thing I'm working on. I'm hoping this isn't a definite date, but I want to have it started by the end of February. The story and streams and stuff. I'll be on it probably twice. I want to do at least one a week. Preferably 2 streams a week on it, and occasionally a YouTube video, obviously, to recap some stuff. It's not gonna be like where I had to spam Ender Falls for a month. I'm not, I'm still gonna be on Ender Falls, by the way, but less on the YouTube side of things. Actually, I don't think I'm gonna make well, I can't say a single YouTube video on Ender Falls, but I'm gonna try to morph that into just a Twitch thing. It's just easier that way. While I still want the story to be immortalized, it'll be on my VODs channel. So it's still going to be there, just, in stream form, which there's always a link to in the description as well. Some other things, some Crimson stuff. We just, at time of recording, we're slowly launching out like a ranking system for the stream community, right? Not stream team, stream community. Basically opening it up. So we're still going to have a stream team from what I understand. Once again, this might not be completely accurate. This is the information I have. I am not the founder or owner of Crimson. I'm just the president of content creation. So, and streaming counts under that. So I manage both, and it's sometimes annoying. But, I took up the role. So, yeah, basically a ranking system. So if you're part of Crimson and you're listening to this, or if you're joining this, if you're a streamer and want to join the streaming community, they're basically taking anyone. If you fill out the application, there's a high chance you'll get in as part of the streaming community itself, and then we'll have our stream team there as well, kind of everyone that's been there now, and occasionally probably bring somebody else in as like our main streamers that we push the most through our ranking system and all that fun jazz. That's the information I have. It could change by the time this even comes out, because once again, there's a solid couple of days between recording and this coming out. I have to record it, and my bad. This is the information I have at the time of recording. If anything major changes, I'll probably update you in the next JO3 Afterdark. Some upcoming videos for my channel specifically, though. What if Gohan never stopped training? A video that won a Twitter poll a couple weeks back. It is recorded. I've started. I have all the things for the video, like all the images and everything ready to go. I just need to edit it together. So it'll be. I want to make it next Saturday's video. Right? It'd be next Saturday. Yeah, because I have the Saturday coming up, which I'll talk about next. That video's planned already. But the next Saturday, when you're seeing this, What If Gohan Never Stopped Training, the first episode should be ready and drop. For this coming Saturday's video, I have a commentary video about the Dream SMP that I've wanted to do. And I mentioned it in my Dream video a couple weeks ago now at the time you're seeing this. So, you know, I want to do a couple commentary videos. I want to eventually do commentary one week, gaming the next. That's the goal on the YouTube channel. I want to start moving away from doing stream highlights. I want to just do like special recordings just for YouTube and stuff like that more often. That's my big goal overall, just because I want to differentiate the two. I want to make my YouTube content completely separate from my Twitch content eventually, excluding maybe the JO3 SMP, because you know I kind of own that. I would like to make content out of it. That might be the only thing for the most part. So, I'm trying to think some other videos. There's a couple other commentary videos down the line that I want to do. I want to do one about just like cancel culture in general, which is probably going to get me canceled on Twitter, which would be funny. I want to do one on sort of stan culture in general, which I talked about in the 2 Dream videos I've done now. About Dream stans, not Dream. If you want my opinion on Dream, I've said him multiple times. I think he's a cool YouTuber. He kind of portrays more of an arrogant sort of personality. Whether that's his real personality or not, you don't know because it's a YouTuber and streamer. I mean, people they either turn up their personality on stream or YouTube than what it actually is, or put on a bit more of a sort of face. Which, you know, fair enough. You got to be entertaining when you're streaming or recording for hours on end. So, you know, you got to do what you got to do. I understand. But that's my thoughts on Dream himself. It's just the Dream stands that are the problem. Which I'll mention probably in this stan culture commentary video. We're going to be doing a bit of controversial videos. None that well, they'll probably get me canceled on Twitter, but that's fine. And definitely not 100% or even close to 100% like to dislike ratio, probably. But that's fine. Probably like a 50-50 at best. So, that's fun. Some upcoming guests for the JO3 Afterdark. I can almost guarantee Justin will be on again soon. I mean, he will be on again soon, but not soon, but there's a specific one we're planning probably in March. That definitely probably doesn't involve WrestleMania or anything. And fantasy booking it maybe, but that's a episode planned. But I'm sure he'll be on soon as well. Justin's always a great dude and great guest for the podcast. We always work well together, from at least in my opinion. So we'll see. Some other people I'd love to get on if it fits in their schedule. I love Dylan. If you're watching this, love to get you on. I know you've expressed some interest in being a guest whenever you can. I know you're a really busy dude. Dylan's the founder and owner of Crimson, by the way, for those who don't know. I'd love to get him on when possible. It'd be fun to talk about some stuff with Crimson and how it started. Because we had the Crimson podcast, but it's really hard to do right now. Because there's so much going on behind the scenes that we could slip up and say, and then, that isn't public information yet. The ranking system is. By the time when this is being recorded, it's already in the Discords. It's already basically, not I guess technically public, but it's in the Discords, which anybody can join, the community Discord where it's at. So, actually, yeah, it is, because the Google form, yeah, it's public. Cool. I don't have to cut anything out. Pog. Alright. We're gonna move on. One more guest. Obviously Harpo is welcome to come on if he ever wants to, I guess. Jesus, obviously, if he wants to, I guess. Some obvious people. I'd love to have Wild if he's available, if you're listening to Wild. They've expressed interest in being a guest as well. I know we had about not a year ago. A year ago, our drama happened. Our stupid drama. Almost a year ago. I think I can say we're pretty good friends now. At least, like, in the sense of online friends. I don't know. Everyone has a different definition of friends, online friends, internet friends, all that fun jazz. We're cool now, at least. You can say that. So I'd love to have him on. It's been not a year, but we had him on a couple months after the drama on the Avengers Shoot podcast. So I think it was the end of summer when we still uploaded on AA. Which that channel will be getting a video soon, just to tell you what's gonna happen with that channel. Because we haven't done predictions in Survivor Series. Well, I'll tell you guys that that video will come out soon. Not really too worried about making that because it doesn't really matter. But you know, I'm gonna make it eventually. Some other stuff before I move on to the wrestling part and everyone clicks off if they haven't already. I don't think there's anyone like I can name just off the top of my head that I mean there's a couple other people in Crimson that could come on if they wanted to. It's really up to them if they wanted to. There's a couple other people I could try to get on, but they're slightly bigger, and I don't know if they'd be I say slightly, but there's a couple people that'd be really cool to have on that I could name, I guess, but I don't want to. Because then there's no surprises. Come on now. I just named the ones that are obvious. That I would love to have on that aren't really a secret, because half of them have been on. It's fine. The only one that hasn't been on some sort of podcast that I specifically under my name or the AA name was Dylan, and he's been on the Crimson one, so whatever. So let's move into wrestling stuff and everyone click off. Wrestling news first, we'll get that out of the way. Kenta was on AEW, that happened. I didn't watch it live, obviously, because I don't watch the product. Come on now. But it was cool. That was a good shock. Seems New Japan if New Japan Impact and AEW worked as some sort of like three-way partnership, which it seems like they're slowly working on, considering some Impact boys were in the what was it, Best of Super Juniors or Super J Cup, whichever one was in mostly the US. I think it was Super J Cup. Since that happened, they had like Chris Bay, TJP, I think Ace Austin was there. And now Impact and AEW had their thing going, and now we have New Japan mixed with AEW. Dude, this could actually legit, like I talked about on the last podcast with Justin when we talked about wrestling, this could legit actually change the wrestling sort of scene. All the big promotions working together. If they get ROH is nearly as big as it used to be, but even if you got them involved, that's just more talent. People like Jay Lethal in there. Bro, if we got all the big companies working together in some shape or form, WWE actually has some very formidable competition there. And really would want to have to step up the game at that point, because that would be the most star-studded partnership of all time. A whole of those big promotions. Just off the top of my head, you got all the elite. You got people like Rich Swann, who's underrated in my opinion. You got all of the X Division and Impact, which are all great. You have all of New Japan. You have a lot of flippy boys in AEW as well. And they got like Pac, you got John Moxley, you got Kenta, who are all appearing on Dynamite. You got all the AEW rosters. You got all those rosters, bro. That's insane. Like that'd be more stacked than the WWE roster, and half of them aren't booked. So there's that. So you know that's fun. That would just be insane. Some other wrestling news though. Apparently Cena is off for Mania. That's interesting. I, for one, during the Rumble watch party the boys have, the boys being me, Justin, Harpo, and Jesus, we're all wrestling fans in some shape or form. We watched the pay-per-views together. We had the conversation that if Cena was he was rumored for Mania at the time, that's been shut down since, that it'd be really cool to see him go after Big E in the IC title since he hasn't won that. And I'll put him over. Obviously, you don't want to give Cena we don't want to have Cena pull Bray Wyatt or Rusev and bury another talent. Pass on the golden shovel, brother. But it would be cool to see him try to chase after the IC title and one time before he's kind of out of the title picture, presumably. But since that's not happening, that's kind of unfortunate. I saw something that Christian had become the #1 contender in 2014 when Big E was IC champ and never got to get his shot. So if Christian wanted to, you could run Christian Big E, but it seems Christian's also kind of done. Which, fair enough, at least for the time being. I mean, he only... I never expect him to make a real comeback, so it was cool to see him in the Rumble. I'll give my thoughts on the Rumble in a minute. One more sort of wrestling news thing. Well, you could call this a news... You could call this news or a rumor. We'll get to rumors at the end. Like, actual rumors. And speculation, but this is you could probably classify this as either. Apparently, Rhea Ripley's call-up, they kind of just don't have plans for her. So they don't know if they want to stick her on Raw or SmackDown. Once again, at the time of recording, SmackDown hasn't happened yet. I'm recording this before SmackDown happens on Friday. So she could show up on SmackDown. So immediately making this outdated. I honestly expect her to go to Raw. So we either got, if they want to run Charlotte Lacey, which looks like the plan at Mania. Since it's 2 nights, they have room for a lot of women's matches. So my thought process was Rhea, Asuka, or Shayna, Asuka, which, considering Shayna is part of the women's tag champs, which will probably be one of the pre-show matches, I would assume Rhea, Asuka, and that'd be a really good match regardless of who won. Probably Rhea, but regardless of who won that, I guess they could have Becky come back too and give us Becky, Asuka. That's not really I wouldn't really be as excited. Maybe a triple threat. Triple threat would be interesting. Just kind of speculating on the podcast right now. So, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. So, by the way, I probably should have said this at the beginning, but there's timestamps for everything. Like all the segments of this podcast. That's the one thing I am gonna try to do going forward. Is kind of have timestamps in the description. For like the intro, upcoming stuff, wrestling news. I'm trying to think of all the ones that'll be here. Wrestling rumors. Thoughts on the Rumble, which we'll get to in a second. And yeah, stuff like that. Eventually, I want to be able to have it for everything. But that's a lot of timestamps. So, we're going to work slowly towards it. But anyways, my thoughts on the Rumble pay-per-view as a whole. I forgot what happened on the pre-show. Was it the women's tag? It was the women's tag. Yeah, it was. That match happened. Wasn't particularly great or bad. Just kind of there. The finish was kind of awkward because there was like 2 or 3 interferences by Rick and Lacey. But it happened. Shayna and Nia, new champs. Good, cool, I guess. Let's see. What started the show? It was Goldberg Drew. Goldberg Drew was interesting. It was 2 minutes 30 seconds. Maybe 2 minutes 31 seconds, around there. Part of me really expected Goldberg to win. If we would have predicted it, I would have still went with Drew, but I really expected him to win. He came out with a Brock Lesnar attire for some reason, which made me think maybe they're teasing Brock for the Rumble. That didn't happen. Neither did Goldberg. But we'll get to that. So Drew retained, which is poggers. What happened next? Was it Carmella Sasha? I believe it was Carmella Sasha. That match was okay. Carmella almost died with a suicide dive. And then the finish happened. And Sasha retained. That's pretty much all I remember from that match. Next was the Women's Rumble, which was surprisingly pretty good. That's not surprising. I didn't have much hype going into Women's Rumble, so I shouldn't say surprisingly. That's not the correct terminology. It definitely helped that we had this isn't Twitch, this is YouTube. We made a simp rule in our Discord. So anytime one of us was simping over a woman, we would give them the simp role. Mostly Jesus, but you should know that by now if you watched any of Jesus' content. Me and Justin were just hoping for Scarlett Bordeaux the entire time. Didn't happen, very unfortunate. Rhea and Bianca were the final 2. Rhea should have won because Bianca pulled a freaking big show from 2000, 2001, something like that. I think it was 2000, where he technically should have won. Well, this time she should have won, Rhea, because Bianca was on the floor. But Bianca ended up winning officially, which is why I think they could do Rhea Asuka. Bianca has both her feet touched the floor at one point. Not scripted to be so, I assume. So, and then Bianca eventually won. Great final 2. Really, I popped so much when Charlotte got eliminated that I pulled the mic cord out from my headset. Not the part that breaks. There's 2 cords. There's one that connects so it will actually use on the PC, or be usable on the PC. But I ripped the actual cord out from that, so it didn't break anything. It just I couldn't hear people. So my reaction was just, let's fucking go really loud, and then halfway through go I just paused because I heard the cord just pull out. So it was a fun reaction. I kind of wish we recorded, but it would probably get us canceled on Twitter, like all of our reactions. But that's fine. Um, it was a good rumble. Owens Reigns was pretty. It was harmless fun. Um, Harpo and Jesus just went on Reddit, which was a weird thing. Uh, they didn't really have much interest in the match, but me and Justin watched it. It was pretty good, harmless fun. The golf cart spot was fun, pulling a Sammy Guevara. Everything was it was a really good last man standing match in my opinion until the finish. And Reigns is meant to be a strong champion, at least like a heel one, right? But he hasn't won a single. I don't think maybe one title defense without any interference. Maybe two. I think the first one against Uso I think was clean. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and watch it. I remember the second match more. The Hell in a Cell match. Um, and I think he had a match against like Braun or something on SmackDown. He may have retained. Without help. I don't remember. But after that, dude, he hasn't had a successful defense without help or a successful match, like big win. Even the one against Drew at Survivor Series, he didn't win clean, which maybe might be the point for the story. But it just makes him look like a terrible champ, dude. He's meant to be an intimidating figure, but he's really, really not when he can't win a match on his own. It's like they're trying to make him really like top heel, intimidating badass, which is where he should be, don't get me wrong. But then they haven't had him win a match, a title defense on his own, because Paul interfered here, helping him get handcuffs off that Kevin put on him, which would have kept him down for the 10 count. The ref also counted the 9 before getting taken out. Could have easily counted the 10, but you know. Then the other ref didn't start counting till like halfway through Reigns getting up. The new ref that came out, and Owens had like 2 minutes to recover just to be put into a guillotine and pass out. It was a bad finish. Probably could have been timed better. But the rest of the match was fine, so I'd probably, just from that finish, if I wanted to grade any of the matches to be this one, I'd probably give it like a 2.5 out of 5. It wasn't necessarily a bad match, but that finish drug it down at least an entire star, dude. For sure. The men's rumble was fucking great. That was a good-ass men's rumble. Best of all time? Probably not. But it's definitely up there. It's definitely top 5. Edge made the entire Rumble, got through the entire fucking Rumble, won the match, which we kind of predicted when they said Edge Orton was gonna be the first two. Harper predicted it first, me and Harpo. I said it right after Harpo and Justin. We all predicted that Edge or Orton was gonna go the entire Rumble because they hadn't had somebody win from an early number in years. So I think the last time may have been Shawn. From number 1 specifically. I think Ray did it from what, 6? I think that was the last time somebody in the first 10 won it. Don't quote me on that because I might be wrong, but I think that's the last time I remember it happening. So, wait. I might be wrong, but that's the last time I remember. But it was a good ass Rumble. Seth coming back was cool. A lot of the surprises were cool. Christian coming back was awesome. Braun being number 30 should have been obvious because he hadn't been in yet. But it was kind of a letdown for the boys. Because, like, cool, it's not Goldberg. But we were expecting Goldberg or some sort of big surprise. Maybe, like, Balor, because he's the NXT champion. The NXT champion loves to appear. Or, like, Cole or somebody from NXT. Which Priest was in the men's Rumble as well, which was cool. We didn't get to see Tom 1 versus Tom 2. Nobody will get that. But it's fine. So, you know, that's unfortunate. But I think it was overall a very solid Rumble. Very clean Rumble. So I think it's probably my top 5. I may do like a Rumble ranking, like my top 10 Rumbles or something. That would be a very difficult because of how many there are. So there'd probably be like one women's Rumble in there, maybe. So yeah, maybe I shouldn't do that. But you know, I do have a potential like ranking for the next podcast episode if I don't have like a guest on. I think what I want to do, for part of it at least, is my top 10 wrestlers of 2020. I know we're like a month into 2021 now, but you know, 2021 is just 2020 part 2, let's be honest here. So it's fine. These don't get as many views as my normal content or other content anyway, but it's fine. But it could be something fun. I wanted to do the list for AA. since we were still planning on uploading at that point. You just didn't do TLC predictions. We had the list back in December, basically done. Our best matches were basically done. That's probably the first one I do actually. Top 10 matches of 2020, then top 10 superstars of 2020 are the two we basically had done. So I might get Justin on to do that. If he wants to, it's up to him. We'll just go through our list we had and like make a list together beforehand, because our lists were slightly different. So I think that would be pretty fair. I think it'd be a fun podcast episode. Maybe next episode or episode after we'll do something like that. Anyways, let's get into the wrestling rumors before we get out of here. The NXT title might be defended at Mania this year. That's the rumor that happened today at the time of recording. That Balor might be on Mania since 2 nights. And you know what? Even though Edge teased a confrontation, I don't think it's going to be Edge. I think we're getting Edge McIntyre. But I'd be fine with the NXT title being defended at Mania. It makes sense. The NXT Women's was last year. I speculated that, I forget which part, it might have been Avengers Shoot, since that still existed. Or it might have been mine. I speculated that they would have a NXT title defended each year at Mania, just because, especially while it's 2 nights. So that would be cool. I think Balor Cross on Mania would be really cool. Or maybe Balor Dunn, but I know Balor Dunn's having a takeover Vengeance. I guess that's why he used Vengeance name. So, maybe Balor Cross at Mania for the NXT title. That'd be really fucking cool. That'd be a really solid match if they gave it time. Great opener for either night of Mania, in my opinion. Have an NXT title match, have Cross win it back finally. Almost a year after his debut. I can't believe it's been a year. That's wild. I'm old. But or you can have Balor retain. Maybe bring back the Demon to beat Karrion Kross. Especially if they maybe wanted to bring Kross up. I think it'd be a bit early, but it's WWE. You never know. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. The other rumor I have here: Cesaro's contract is apparently set to expire after Mania. We don't know if he's re-signed or not, from what I've seen in the time of recording. But I wanted to put it on here so I could speculate a bit. I think he's going to resign. That's the obvious option. That's Cesaro. I don't see why he wouldn't. But if I wanted to do a fun speculation, let's say he didn't, where would he go? I'm not going to be like everybody and say AEW, although that'd be cool. And it wouldn't really matter where he goes if all these big promotions are partnering up. He could really show up anywhere. But where I'd want him to go is honestly either Impact or New Japan. Impact. I am the biggest Impact fan of all the boys in Unfunny Inc. No one else really watches it. I don't watch the product live. Come on now, it's impossible. Why would I watch Twitch? But I watch the highlights on YouTube. I keep up with the pay-per-views. I don't buy them. Come on now, that's money. I don't have money. But I check out the results usually and check out the Twitter clips and everything the Impact post. The shows look to be really good. They honestly have been putting on a pretty solid product. I hate the fact that they're like being like everyone else and putting on a pay-per-view like every month now, instead of like NXT takeovers used to be like every 3 months. Now there's one like every 6 weeks. I know it's to make up for not having a crowd and getting more money at the pay-per-views. I understand that. It's money. It's a business thing. I got that. Just means the pay-per-views don't feel special and their storylines are more forced and feel rushed. I still think they have a pretty good roster. Pretty good yeah. They just lost Ethan Page and 2/3 of the Rascals. The Rascals are in. Besides Trey, I think is the one that stayed. Their 2 are in NXT now. Is MSK, which is going to be a fun team. They might win the Dusty Cup, but that's speculation for another time. So they just lost Ethan Page. I don't know where he's going to go. But they still have a pretty good roster. They got Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder, and he seems to be embarking on a feud with Brian Myers because they can never escape each other. So that's fun. I think they honestly have a good enough roster. If they got somebody like Cesaro in there, or I guess Claudio, he'd be, good old Claudio outside of the dub. He could honestly be Impact Champion in his debut, and that wouldn't shock me. Because he'd be a really good main event heel. Or face, if they want to make him a face. He could do either. It's Cesaro. Just give him good opponents. Give me Swan Cesaro. That'd be really good. If he went to Impact or wherever. And if he went to New Japan, he could easily be a top Gaijin. He speaks like 5 languages, so it'd be fine. He'd be a top heel, bro. Easily in New Japan. Easily top heel Gaijin. Easily take, like, the top position from, I guess, Jay White? or Osprey. Easily take that and easily be IWGP Heavyweight or IC Champ if they don't ever split the belts. Or if they do, I guess, and don't unify them or whatever they plan to do. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. I don't really have much else to talk about. Uh, Off the top of my mind, I could do like I could do takeover predictions, but there's only been like 2 matches announced. Kushida's winning the NXT North American title, I guess. And Balor's retaining. That's my early predictions for you. There's not a lot else I can really talk about. There's not a lot going on right now in the wrestling world or other world that I can really talk about without probably getting political. Sure, I could talk about the stock market stuff, but I don't know enough about stocks. I'm a minor. You think I know anything about stocks? It just is very funny to me, and I see a lot of memes, and then I laugh and like them on Twitter. That's really all it brings me. uh, Anyways, I don't really have much else to talk about. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe. I want to make these weekly, like I said again. And next time, or the time after, we'll be ranking matches from 2020 and wrestlers from 2020, I guess. Maybe I'll do a back-to-back depending on how long the rankings take. Like podcast episodes. Or I'll do them in one. We'll just see. We'll see. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. Catch you guys next week or Saturday if you actually watch my other content. Which you're more than likely watching that and not this. So, you know.